everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I am pleased to show you this beautiful baby heart cardigan. We're going to do it together with step-by-step instructions. It is made from the neck down and with the round yoke. For this project I love this yarn, super soft yarn, and it is category 3, and the color was hot rose and white. I needed 2 sizes crochet hook. 4mm is for the entire body of the cardigan, 4.5mm is for the hearts. I also needed darning needles, just regular one to sew the heart on to the cardigan with, and this one I used to thread through this lace around the neck opening. You will also need a pair of scissors, measuring tape, several stitch markers. Like or subscribe, and without further ado, let's begin. Start with the slip knot, and we're gonna chain 56. 1, 2, 3. So we're gonna chain into we're gonna do single crochet into the second stitch from the hook. That means it's not this little V, but this one. So we're gonna work into the second chain and put single crochet in there. Chain 1. We will skip 1 stitch, this one here, and into the next one, single crochet. Chain 1, skip 1, into the next one, single crochet. One more time, chain 1, skip the next stitch and into the next one, single crochet till the rest of the row. At the end of the row you will have 2 chains remaining, which we will not use, so just undo it and tie a knot, and let's move on. So we're gonna chain 3, and into this space here we're gonna place V-stitch. V-stitch consists of double crochet, chain 1, and double crochet. So double crochet, chain 1, and double crochet. Into the next space, or chain 1 space, we're gonna do again V-stitch, double crochet, chain 1, and double crochet. Next space is right here, V-stitch. So make sure you're not working into single crochets. If you kind of stretch your fabric, you will see that there is a little hole right here and here. This is a single crochet in between the 2 chain 1 spaces. At the end of this row, you should have 26 V-stitches plus the chain 3 at the beginning and the double crochet at the end, which we will put in the last single crochet. So I did my 25 V-stitches. This is my 26th. And I will put double crochet on top of that turning chain from the previous row. So count your V-stitches, make sure you have 26. Chain 3. Into this space here, we're gonna put 3 double crochets. This row is really easy because in every V-stitch, we are going to put 3 double crochet cluster, or also known as granny stitch. Again, next V-stitch, and 3 double crochet cluster. So make sure that you're working always in V-stitches. They exactly look like V's, which is why they call them that, so you don't work into spaces between. So continue with 3 double crochet clusters in each V-stitch until the end of the row. At the end of the row, place 1 double crochet on top of the chain 3 from the previous row. So now we have 2 matching sides with chain 3 or 1 double crochet and then our first shell. Just gonna get rid of these 2 extra stitches. I like to add a couple more stitches just in case, because sometimes you miscalculate. So we're going to need a whole bunch of stitch markers, I think 8 of them, and we're going to mark our stitches to where we can do some increases into in our next round. So starting with this full shell here, 1, 2, place your stitch marker in that space in between, and then count 3 full shells. So 1, 2, 3, or cluster stitches, stitch marker, again 1, 2, 3, stitch marker, and do so until the end of the row. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. On this side you're going to have 3 shells left, and we start with only 2 shells here, but that's okay, not to worry about that. So now let's chain 3, I will put 1 more double crochet in this space here, yarn over, regular granny stitch or 3 double crochet cluster into the next space between the 2 cluster stitches, and now we've come to the mark stitch. I am going to place 2 double crochets, chain 1, and 2 double crochets. So that's our increase. I am going to move my stitch marker and place it in the middle of 2 pairs of 2 double crochets. Next, in space next to the increase, we're going to do a regular granny, and that's going to take us to the increase space, in which we will put 2 double crochets, chain 1, and 2 double crochets. So move the stitch marker. You will continue putting regular double crochet, 3 double crochet stitches, clusters or granny stitches, into spaces before the stitch markers. In the stitch marker, which is our increase space, is 2 double crochet, chain 1, and 2 double crochet. Every time move your marker so that next time you don't miss where the increase was. I'll meet you at the end of the round. At the end of the row, we will put 2 double crochet, or 1 double crochet, and then 1 more double crochet into the top of chain 3. This is what we have so far. Chain 3. We're going to skip all these 2 stitches and go into the first space and place cluster stitch, and in every space between the 2 cluster stitches from the previous previous row, once we get to our stitch marker space, we are going to put one extra shell or cluster stitch in this space. So put 3 double crochets here, and then continue with regular cluster stitches or granny stitches till the next marker. And in the space between the 2 sets of double crochets, we're going to put cluster stitch. So continue this till the end of the row. So each space between the 2 shells will be 1 regular granny stitch. In this increase stitch marked with the stitch marker, we will put 3 double crochets or granny stitch here. Continue on until the end of the round. At the end of this row, we will match the other side, which we started with chain 3, and then the shell. Here we have the shell. We're going to just do 1 double crochet into the top of chain 3 from the previous row. So we essentially added 8 increases, and what we now need to do, we need to add 3 more rows. Very straightforward. So in each chain, in each space between the 2 shells, you will put 1 granny stitch. So what we're looking for is 3 more rows. Like I said, very simple. In each chain space, you're going to put 1 of those shells. So we're going to do 3 more rows. I'm just going to show you the beginning of this row, and then you can finish those 3 rows on your own. Also important to remember is that we are alternating between 2 stitches at the beginning of the row, and then 1, and then 2, and then 1. So now we need to add 1 double crochet into this space between the shell and the chain 3, and then moving on, we're going to be adding granny stitch. At the end of this row and the next 3 rows, you will have 33 cluster stitches. So continue on, finish this row plus 2 more. So this is now completed 7 rows, I believe, after the setup row with a single crochet. So if you count, it's from the V-stitch. So this is row 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now we're going to separate back and front from the arm openings. So I place some stitch marker, and what you're going to do is you're not going to be counting the first couple of stitches here. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches, or 4 full shells, and then in the middle of the 3 stitches put the stitch marker. Then, not counting that space, count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shells, and then in the middle of the 7th stitch put stitch marker. So now count 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and in the 10th place a stitch marker in the middle of this cluster stitch. Count 5 or 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and in the middle of the 7th stitch put the stitch marker, and you should have 4 full shells left. 1, 2, 3, 4, and the chain here. Chain 3, and we are going to put a cluster stitch right here in this first space. And continue with 1 cluster stitch in every space until the stitch marker. Once you get to the stitch marker, you can remove it. We're going to do half double crochet, chain 1, and now go all the way to the next stitch marker, and half double crochet into that middle stitch. So yarn over and half double crochet, and that's our first arm opening. Immediately after this half double crochet, we will do a regular cluster stitch and continue putting cluster stitches in each space until the next stitch marker. At the next stitch marker, put the last shell here right next to the marked one. Remove the stitch marker, yarn over and put half double crochet into that middle stitch, chain one, move on all the way to the next stitch marker, and put half double crochet into that middle stitch. Immediately after, in this space, start crocheting cluster stitches in each space. So at the end of this round, I'm going to switch yarns. To attach the white yarn, I will undo the last loop I've pulled, or the last double crochet I made. So chain over, yarn over, insert hook inside, and pull through only 2 loops. Now grab your white yarn, leave yourself enough tail so you can weave it in later, and pull through the rest of the 2 loops. So now chain 3, turn your work, and put another double crochet in this space, and now continue putting granny stitches or clusters in every space around. Once you get to the armhole, we will put 1 stitch or 1 cluster stitch in that space that we created between the shell and the actual half double crochet. So put the shell there, and we're going to do the same on the other side. So there is our granny shell or cluster stitch, and we're going to put 1 cluster stitch between the shell and that half double crochet. So continue until the next chain space. And so here we are at the second arm opening or armhole. So there is this regular granny stitch or the cluster stitch with 3 double crochets, and then this is our half double crochet. So we're gonna put 1 regular cluster stitch in that space, and then move on to the other side, and again look for that half double crochet, and this is our regular granny. So in here in this space, granny stitch or cluster, and continue until the end of the row. I'll add 6 more rows in white, and I'll meet you there. So let's do some measurements. My little cardi is now approximately 9.5 inches wide, and I've got from the top of the shoulder to the bottom 7.5. I am aiming for 9.5, so that means I need 2 more inches, and 2 more inches are corresponding roughly to my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows. So I'm going to do 4 rows, and then we're going to measure again. Let's remeasure. So I needed 9.5 inches, so I'm going to go from the top of the shoulder. I'm at, say, 9.25, so I think I'm going to go 1 more row, and in centimeters that is 24, almost 24, so 25 would be nice. So let's do 1 more row of white. All right, so just to double check, let's make sure that we have white rows of white yarn. So we're going to count zigzagging like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So for the sleeves, we are going to start in that middle space, or the chain one space that we created between the two half double crochets. So I am going to tie my yarn chain 3, or pull the yarn up first and then chain 3, and into that same space put 2 more double crochets. Moving on around the arm opening, this is my last shell between the 2 shells from the previous row, so a regular cluster stitch goes in here, and I'm gonna slip stitch to the top of chain 3 of the very first cluster stitch we've made. I did my last shell, so now I'm gonna slip stitch to the top of chain 3, and I am going to pull the yarn up, chain 3, and 2 more double crochets for a cluster stitch. Moving on to the next space, another cluster stitch, and so on. So we need approximately, let's do 12 rows, or maybe 10 rows, and then we'll see how's our length for the sleeve. So 10 more rows. So this is my row 2, so I am going to put a piece of yarn so that I know where I started. So right here, so we got 2 rows, and then let's do 10 more, and then we'll see how far we've got. So let's double check. If you open the side of the cardigan, you will see where we started, which is this shell right here, and we said we were going to do 12 rows in total. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I think we need about 7 inches or 16 centimeters. So we're going to close this gap later, just so you know. So when I go from the corner here, if I need 16 centimeters, I have another 3 centimeters left to the length that I desire, or maybe 7 inches. So I still have about a couple of inches. So I'm going to do 2 more rows and then remeasure. So I think we're going to be okay now as far as length. So we're going to measure from this corner. I said 7 inches, so I'm almost there. So I'm at 6.5 inches, and in centimeters I wanted 16, and I have another centimeter left. So I'm gonna switch my yarns. You can chain 1 and cut your yarn. And what I want to do is I want to narrow down the sleeve a little bit, and I'm going to do that with the white yarn. So I'm going to attach my yarn. Always try to attach it underneath the sleeve or garment. So anywhere is fine. So pull up your yarn and chain 1. and into that same space single crochet, another single crochet, and now we're going to do single crochet 2 together. So insert your hook into the first stitch, pull up that yarn, insert hook into the next stitch, pull up that yarn, and go through all 3 of them. Again, 2 regular single crochets and then a decrease. So go through first, go through second, and finish. Again, 2 single crochets and then single crochet 2 together. So do that until the end of the row and I'll meet you there. I'm at my last 2 stitches, which I will decrease and slip stitch to the first single crochet, chain 2, and we are going to do half double crochets all around. At the end of the row, slip stitch to the top of chain 2, chain 1, and into that same space single crochet, and you will single crochet around, and that's going to be the end of our first sleeve. You're going to have to repeat this to make the other sleeve, and then we have to do some finishing touches. At the end of the row, slip stitch to the first single crochet, chain 1, and our sleeve is done. Okay, we decreased for sure, and it's more narrower now, but still has enough space for baby's hand to go comfortably through the sleeve. So again, start the other sleeve. We're going to start in this chain 1 space that we created right underneath the arm opening, and attach your yarn here, and then start doing your shells right here. So one shell will be here, the next one will be here. Make sure that you're having the same number of shells on both sleeves, and I'll meet you when you're done. Now it's time to weave in all the ends. It's going to be easier to work the finishing touches. So all of these little ends that are sticking out need to be tidied up, and I'll do that off camera. So to close the gap, and I created this gap because I didn't want to put additional shell in here, otherwise our sleeve would be way too wide. So grab a darning needle and same colored yarn, and we're going to be working from the inside of the sleeve. So this is our gap. So what I would do is I'm going to start here on this side. There is no recipe for this. There are some great YouTube tutorials that you may want to search and find and follow. So just do your best to grab some strands, and preferably not the single one. So you don't want to go here and then pull on this one. So I'll just go through here, making sure that I'm not working on the other side of the work. So gently pull, don't rush it, otherwise it's going to be very visible. So I'm going to finish here close to the space where I started, so I can tie a knot. We're going to work on the collar now. So what I've done, I marked some stitches, and if you turn your work and look at inside, it's easy to see these V-stitches right here. So what I've done, I marked 1, 2, and then the third one the V-stitch, and then 1, 2, 3 and the fourth one, 1, 2, 3 and the fourth one, and 1, 2, 3 the fourth one, all the way to the end. So I ended up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spots. So to start working on the collar, insert your hook into the very first stitch and chain 3. Into every V-stitch we're gonna put 2 double crochets. So work over your tail as well. So into the next we're gonna put 2 double crochets. One more V space here, 2 double crochets, and then take the stitch marker out, and we're gonna do 1 double crochet into this space. Then again look for that V, and then in that same space put 2 double crochets, and into the marked space we're going to put only 1. So do that until the end of the row. And at the end of the row, double crochet into this chain 1 space. So that definitely did bring it in a little bit, and I quite like it. So at this point you can chain 1 and then cut the yarn. So with the pink yarn, you're gonna attach your yarn here where the last granny stitch is, chain 1, into that same space put 1 single crochet, and then move on to the next space, single crochet. In this gap here put 2 single crochets, one here and here. So you need to space out these single crochets. It usually ends up being 2 per gap or per row. But adjust accordingly. I'm going to put 1 here and 2 here, except my second one will be in that turning chain. So single crochet here, chain 1, now single crochet in every stitch around, until you get to the other side. I'm going to put single crochet into that last stitch, chain 1, and start working down the side. So I'll put 1 single crochet here and 1 here, and so on. So I'll just quickly count the stitches that I have on the other side. So we have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17. So I should have 17 stitches this side. So I already have 5, 6, 16 and 17. So chain 1 and cut your yarn. Weave in this end and then we'll continue, or both ends. We're going to continue with white yarn. So I'm going to attach my yarn into that very last stitch I just made. And now I'm going to slip stitch into the white portion of my work. Chain 1 and single crochet. And single crochet again. I'll put my last stitch into the chain 3 space. So that's what it is. So count your stitches, and we'll continue now this way and finish on the other side. So chain 1 and into that same space, single crochet, and now single crochet all the way around. And I'll see you at the next corner. At the corner, I will put 1 single crochet into that last stitch. Chain 1 and start single crocheting on the other side. So count your stitches and make sure that you have them spread evenly so that your sides are even in length. So I got 17 stitches so far. I counted stitches on the other side and I had 20, including this one here that we shared with the pink yarn. So I got 17, 18, 19, and now cut yourself a decent tail. And we're going to use darning needle to finish this side. So we are going to make one more stitch, and we're going to make it as an invisible join. So with the fabric facing you, the right side, find that first single crochet we did with the pink yarn, thread the needle through, and now go to this very first single crochet, so right here, and kind of drive your needle through the middle and to the back of your work, and then tighten. So now that looks like a normal stitch. And now you will turn your work around. Make sure you're not making the stitch too tight. I usually secure it with a little knot right next to where the stitch ends. Perfect. And now hide your tail. Cut your yarn. To make a heart, we're going to start with magic circle. If you don't know how to make magic or do magic circle, there are great tutorials on YouTube for you to learn. Chain 1 and do single crochet into that circle, followed by a double crochet. Next, we're going to make triple crochet. We will yarn over twice, go into the circle, and then pull through the pair of 2 loops. So first pair of 2 loops, and the second and the third. So that was 1 triple. We need 2 more. All right, now we're going to make 4 double crochets into this circle. So 1, 2, 3, and 4 double crochets. And we're going to make 1 more triple crochet. So yarn over twice, go through first 2, second 2, and third 2 loops. So this is half of the heart. Maybe tighten this loop a little bit. Now we're going to mirror what we did on this side onto the other. So we're going to start with 4 double crochets. Three triple crochets, next is a double crochet and a single crochet. We're going to slip stitch to the first single crochet, and that's the end of round 1. You can now tighten this loop. All right, to start round 2, we're going to chain 1. We are going to skip this same single crochet where we slip stitched into, and in the next stitch we're going to do single crochet and half double crochet. Into the next 2 stitches we're going to put 2 double crochets. So that's 2 in 1 once, and then again 2 double crochets in 1 stitch twice. Next we're going to do 1 double crochet and 1 half double crochet into the same stitch. Now we need to make 4 half double crochets. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And that brings us to our treble crochet, and in that tip we're going to put a half double crochet, and a half double crochet all in that 1 stitch. So half double crochet and half double crochet. Now we're going to do whatever we did on this side on the opposite side. So we're going to start with 4 half double crochets, 4. In the next stitch we're going to do half double crochet and a double crochet. So here's a half, and in the same stitch here's a double crochet. Now we're going to do 2 stitches with 2 double crochets. So 1 and 2. And just like we started on the other side, we are going to half double crochet and single crochet into this last stitch. So half double crochet and into that same stitch a single crochet. So we're going to slip stitch into this last stitch. All right, so skip this stitch and into the next one put single crochet, into the next one single crochet and half double crochet, into the next one half double crochet and a double crochet, and now do 2 double crochets into the next 4 stitches. Make 1 double crochet and half double crochet into the next stitch, and now we need 1 half double crochet into the next 5 stitches. Okay, now we're at the tip here, and into the tip we're going to put half double crochets, 2 double crochets and half double crochets. So half double, 2 doubles, and half double, all in that one stitch. We're going to continue with 5 half double crochets, then half double crochet and a double crochet into the next stitch, 2 double crochets into the next 4 stitches, once, 4 times, then we're gonna do half double crochet and double crochet and a half double crochet here, and then half double crochet and single crochet into this stitch, and in the last stitch we're going to put single crochet. So that's the end of our heart. I'm going to slip stitch to this stitch here, and there you go. So what we're going to do is I am going to chain 1 and cut the yarn, but I'm going to leave myself a decent length of yarn so I can sew the heart onto my cardigan. As far as placements of my heart, I am aiming for this shell here, so it is the 3rd one from the opening of the cardigan. So 1, 2, this is the 3rd one. I will aim for my tip of the heart to end right there. I'm going to do the same with the other side. So 1, 2, this is the 3rd shell, so the tip of the heart should be here. There. I'm happy with the placement. We have approximately same distance between the heart and the edging. So what I like to do is sort of secure my heart so that I know it's not going to shift as I sew around. So for that I use contrasting yarn, and I'm just going to put a couple of stitches to where I want my heart to sort of end or begin. There. and there. So this will hold it in place as I'm working on it, sewing it around. I'm going to do the same with the other side. So this is our slip stitch, which I tightened. So I'm going to go right inside, but kind of going this way, not straight down, but going a little bit this way. Grab my needle. And now I'm going to come out from the bottom up. So I'm going to aim for approximately every third stitch. We don't have to sew every stitch, but maybe, so here I'm going to go around one stitch. I hope you can see that. So came out here, and I'm going to go where the next stitch is and go to inside. But then when I come back, I'm not going to go with the same stitch or next to it. I'm going to skip a few and maybe come out here. All right, now in the front, we only go around a stitch, so right next to it. In the back, I'm going to skip approximately 3 stitches and come out here, work around this post. This is my last stitch I'm going to make. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to continue working with the pink yarn, making sure that I don't go all the way through. I'm just going to grab a strand like this and make a little knot. Check my placement, and I think it's perfect. And so there was that little knot. I'm going to go through the bunch of these white yarn strands and grab another loop at the front, making sure that I don't get all the way through on the other side. Make sure you're not tightening this so that you don't distort the shape of the heart. Grab another yarn strand, make a little knot, and another, and I think that's enough. That won't go anywhere. There. So this is the middle of the heart. I think that's a good place to finish your work. So thread through. I don't see my needle, so that's great. And then again. Always check if you can see your needle. And we can cut the yarn. So do the same with the other heart. And we're almost done. Adorable. I made twisted cord for my cardigan for closure. I didn't want any buttons. So I started with 2 meters, 2 strands of 2 meters, and then I twisted it 50 times and folded in half. And this is what I got. And I have this tapestry needle with the large eye, so I'm going to now thread this through, and I'm going to do so between the double crochets. So maybe every second one. If we need to adjust, we will adjust at the neck part so that we know where are coming out on the other end where we should. I now have 24 centimeters across, or say 9.5 inches. And then as far as the height, I got 9.5 inches and 25 centimeters. So that would be appropriate for a 3 to 6 months old baby. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I really enjoyed making this sweater or cardigan. Love the contrast with pink and white. The hearts are just super cute. I would appreciate any comments or likes and subscribes if you like this tutorial. And until our next project together, stay well, everyone.